Choppin' it up with Ramel. Choppin' it up with Ramel. Choppin' it up with Ramel. No notes, straight from the throat. Choppin' it up with Ramel. Choppin' it up with Ramel. Choppin' it up with Ramel. No notes, straight from the throat. Choppin' it up with...
Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Chopping It Up with Ramel. No notes, straight from the throat. Well, let's get right to it. Last night, I talked about it being possibly the eliminator game in the NFL last night between Green Bay and Philadelphia, and I believe that's just it. And it was a game that stars needed to play like stars when stars needed to be stars. And unfortunately, the stars, or the soon-to-be stars, or hopeful stars on the Philadelphia Eagles team that I root for, did not show up. The running game wasn't effective. Wentz looked like a rookie out there. And meanwhile, on the other side of the ball, Aaron Rodgers came up looking like a star. If this was a game that looked like it might have saved this season, maybe saved Mike McCarthy's job, these guys came out and played well. What we saw with Aaron Rodgers looked like vintage Rodgers. He came out there, he looked a lot like the MVP Rodgers that we've known in the past. Threw for over 300 yards, finding receivers all day long, all night long, I should say. What a game by the Packers. They came up big, a good road win on in Philly, and it continues their season as they stay in the playoff hunt, whether it's a wild card or a chase for the division. Aaron Rodgers came up big. On the other side of it, Philly, maybe coming out the gate, I think it was 4-0. Maybe we got too excited. Maybe the team overachieved. Maybe we just thought too much of the team. That's very well possible. When you come out 4-0 and looking like you can win, be competitive in every game, I guess that happens. Maybe we got him overexcited, but nevertheless, this looks like it's going to be the end of the season for Philly with this loss here. I think this knocks them out of the playoff picture. I tell you what, if I'm the GM of the Philadelphia Eagles, I'm going into the offseason and I'm looking at wide receivers. That's got to be the key right there, wide receivers. We need a playmaker. Jordan Matthews, listen, he's not a number one receiver. He's probably number 3 on most teams. He's probably not even number 2. It's important that we go out and we find wide receivers. I mean, we have to find wide receivers. Without wide receivers, this team is not going to be able to compete in the offseason. We need to find wide receivers. It's very important that we find wide receivers in the offseason. The defense has improved under Schwartz as a defensive coordinator. Yeah, you can plug a few holes here and there, but the defense has improved. The running game, when healthy, it could be a strong running game, but we need wide receivers. And Carson Wentz, he's probably just got to work on his game. He'll get better as we go along, but we need wide receivers. Again, Aaron Rodgers, they came to play last night. The Eagles aided them on one call. It was 4th and 10, I believe it was. They was about to punt. Next thing you know, we get a 12-man on the field penalty. It's 4th and 5. Mike McCarthy sends out the offense. Jordy Nelson gets away with a push-off along the sidelines. Nevertheless, catches the ball as a first down, extends the drive. Pretty much that killed any remaining chances right there. With like 3.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. But nevertheless, man, good game by the Eagles. By the Packers. It was a must-win. Eagles, this one here is going to take a lot of this and that for you to really make some kind of run towards the with 5 games left here. I don't see it at 5 and 6. I just don't see it. You would have to go 10 and 6, and I don't see winning out like that. So, all right. A little curious to see what's going to happen today in the college rankings, as the AP poll has Ohio State number 2. If the college playoff system has Ohio State as number 2. I don't see any team leaping Ohio State to prevent Ohio State from not being in the playoffs, even though they did not win a division. And what's so significant about that is that if Ohio State is selected, that means a team that wins their conference is not going to be selected. And there's no doubt in my mind, if Penn State wins the Big Ten will have 2 teams in the Final Four. And it'll probably read Alabama number 1, Ohio State number 2, Washington or Cleveland number 3. I mean, not Cleveland, Washington or Clemson number 3, and Penn State number 4. But we'll see what happens. We still got some time, still some playoff, some championship games, conference games to be played. What would be interesting is if Alabama gets knocked off by Florida, which is number 15. Would they drop from the top 4? That would make it really interesting. But I don't see Alabama getting beat by Florida. I think Alabama will steamroll over Florida, so we'll see what happens. Moving right along to the association, the NBA, that is, the OKC Thunder comes in, Westbrook and Thunder comes into the Garden last night and snapped New York's home winning streak, man. What a performance by this kid Westbrook, man. I mean, is he the new Iverson? This guy is relentless. He's got a motor that never stops. It's never sluggish. Just relentless, this guy is, man. Man, what an awesome display he put on again. Another triple-double, 27 points, 18 rebounds, 14 assists. I mean, 18 rebounds from the point guard. Man, this guy's having a magnificent season. Man, the real question is this. There's 2 questions. Will they bring him a wing help, or will he burn out, man? And what I'm watching, man, I think this guy, man, he could just play, man. He could flat out play, man. Derrick Rose, he had 30 points in the loss. Carmelo, his shot wasn't there. Knicks just couldn't keep up with this guy, man. And they came out the gate ahead of him, but then towards the end of the second quarter, Westbrook and company they took a lead going into halftime, and pretty much from that point on, they maintained that 3, 4, 5 point, maybe 6 point lead, and just to finish it out, maybe with a 9-point victory. But the game was close throughout. Just couldn't keep up with this guy Westbrook, man. I mean, you tip your hat, man. Sometimes you just tip your hat, man. Not necessarily the better team won, but it's just that, the better player prevailed. Better player propelled his team to a victory, and that's exactly what happened, man. And no knock on the Knicks. They had no one to match the performance of him. Derrick Rose gave a gritty performance by trying to put more points on the board, but we all know that we're a better team when Derrick Rose is distributing, not when he's scoring. I mean, I think the record reflects that we're like 7-1, or 7-1, or I think 7-0 when Derrick Rose scores 15 points or less. So scoring 30 points looks good, and maybe it shows some form of his old MVP self. But if the formula for us to win is you passing the ball, distribute it, then do so. I mean, this ain't a moment to take upon yourself to go one-on-one with maybe one of the game's best players, because that's just what he is. Westbrook is probably the top 3 player in the game, and he's making his case for MVP. So go head to head. I mean, unless we can get the win at the end, doesn't mean nothing to me. It really doesn't. And this is coming off the heels where the rankings had moved. The NBA rankings had the Knicks moving from 20 to 17. I thought maybe they would go up just slightly higher. I thought maybe 16, possible 15. But they had them at 17, so they'll probably stay idle. But the Knicks got to get back to some winning ways. They fall back to under 500 after going over 500 for a brief moment. They were 8-7. Now they're 8-9. So they need to find that winning formula and get back to their winning ways, man. But nevertheless, a gritty performance by Derrick Rose, but an even better performance by Russell Westbrook, who I had MVP going into the season, and I still think he's going to MVP when the season is all said and done. So keep an eye on that. That's an MVP watch. Currently, the MVP watch has him one and LeBron two. So we'll see what happens going forward there. Moving along in the association, Atlanta goes to Golden State, and Golden State, they pick up their 12th consecutive win as Atlanta continues their losing streak. And nothing changed there. Durant, Curry, Klay Thompson, all with 20 points or more. I mean, that trio is just phenomenal, along with the trio in Cleveland that continues to score 20-plus points a game each. I mean, we might see some numbers that we've never seen. LeBron is flirting with averaging a triple-double. Russell Westbrook is averaging a triple-double. Two teams with a trio of 20 points or more. I don't know. Is this a result of just soft defense? I mean, let's think about this for a second, man. Or is this just stats on steroids? I mean, you have about 2 or 3 players that's averaging 30-plus points a game. I mean, is it just backing off from defense? I don't understand it. I'm not used to it. It just seems strange to me. But nevertheless, man, if scoring is what you're promoting these days, scoring is what you're gonna get. Because right now, scoring is up in the NBA. I think every team is averaging above 100 points a game. Some is probably averaging over 110. Every time I turn around, it looks like it's triple digits, even for the losing team. So a lot to be desired there. We'll see what happens, going forward. But relatively quiet night other than Monday Night Football and a few NBA games to report with any significant. But the Atlanta Hawks, they continue their losing ways. I know this is 3 in a row since Thanksgiving. I'm not sure what happened before Thanksgiving, but Atlanta, this is not looking good for you, coming out west and not winning a game, and you're supposed to be one of the top 4 teams in the East. I don't see it. I don't think they make the playoffs, but we'll find out. We'll find out as the season progresses. There's a lot of basketball to be played, although we're coming up on a quarter of the season, almost done. Some teams have played 17, 18, 19 games. Remember, it's only 82 games, so once you hit that 20-game mark, you're pretty much a quarter done. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully the Knicks can get back to their winning ways in their next game, and we'll see what happens. But that's going to do it for today's show. I'll see you guys in 24. And remember, man, peace and blessings. This is Chopping It Up with Ramel. No notes, straight from the throat. Hey, y'all have a blessed day out there. Keep tuning in.
Chop, chop.